Yo, it's Real 92.3, Bootleg Kev DJ Hed.
West Coast.
The homie Big K.R.I.T is in the building,
Hey,
man.
what's happening?
K.R.I.T is here. The album is out. K.R.I.T is here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's crazy. I remember when K.R.I.T was here, came out.
Oh, Lord.
I remember how happy I was when, I think it was DJBooth.net gave it Mixtape of the Year.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, as long as you or Truck Music won it, I was going to be happy. Shout out to the blog days, man.
Yeah, man. The beginning of it all. The crazy thing is that interview that I did with them, I turned down the master fader on a mixing board. So we bounced everything out. So when the project went out, everybody was like, bro, this shit is super low. And I was like, bro, I don't know what happened. And literally, it's because I turned the master fader down, never turned it back up. And that's why the record isn't loud as it's supposed to be. And everybody kept trying to turn their knob and couldn't. Then we dropped a remastered version of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so shout out to DJ Booth. It was their fault.
So you fucked it up.
Yeah, well, DJ Booth fucked it up. That was their fault. Like, you know?
Okay.
Yo,
I was
that's
trying to be
crazy.
courteous.
You
to turn my
self-sabotaging,
music.
motherfucker.
Basically, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yo, man, you dropped, you know, if we're calling it, the last album was like a double disc low key, right?
Yeah, it was 22 records, Justin Scott's side, Big K.R.I.T side, which was forever in my long time. Yeah,
an incredible
Definitely make
project.
that line,
Why take it full circle with K.R.I.T is here?
Because the 10-year anniversary of K.R.I.T was here happens next year, man, and I feel like it's kind of made sense to finally kind of cap that off. And I remember what it was like working on K.R.I.T was here and it being me and this last hurrah, like putting every song that I had done over the past 2 or 3 years, sonically, if it was East Coast feeling, West Coast feeling, bounce on an album and like seeing what could happen. Like, you know, Lord, I hope when they take off and it don't, I'm going back home. So I feel like the confidence I have now, the understanding of what I bring to the music game, knowing that I have been here, I've been in the same arena with my peers, it just made sense to show that kind of confidence on this particular album and say, yeah, K.R.I.T is here and I've been here and I've been killing it.
Hey, it's crazy because I tweeted this a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, we got to give K.R.I.T his flowers while he's still here.
Hey,
you know
man,
what I'm saying?
you,
like
Thank you.
you're like, of the last decade, you're one of the GOATs, bro.
Hey.
Like I swear to God, bro. Like I ain't even no cap.
It.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about consistency, discography. We're talking about all that shit. Like, you know, I had that same conversation with Freddie Gibbs, and I'm like, yo, man, the last decade, man, like, you know, fuck all this album sales and all that other shit. I'm talking about who's the best.
I know. I mean, and you know, me and Gibbs just seen the transition from just album sales or just being out here on the road, touring off your mixtapes to streams now, like what the game is now. And we've been able to survive that change when a lot of artists didn't. And so it's been a blessing, man, to kind of be in this position where people know I'm going to put out quality music, they're going to support, and it's like a resurgence. It's like I'm a new artist all over again.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's just weird. I remember. It's awesome, though.
I remember being at your listening session and you was playing shit and you stopped the music. You was like, look, I just want to tell everybody now I'm comfortable with outside influence. I'm comfortable working with other people.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, from your perspective, how you managed to stay even in the game or relevant with not working with people. That's your one perspective. And then what inspired the switch to start working with everybody?
I mean, when you find your comfort zone in your pocket and people know that they're gonna get a certain amount of quality from you, you good, right? You know, it's like they know that recipe gonna be there. But I think with this particular album, it was important that people didn't be able to automatically know what I was going to come with this time. I mean, I think music has always been kind of changing, kind of morphing. I, as a creative, love to jump on new kind of records. I think people that got comfortable with putting me in a certain box, and then either the features are going to be like that, like, you know what, K.R.I.T going to give me this, I'm just going to wait. Like, hell nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only am I having fun now in my career, but I have a certain kind of freedom to create. And so I literally was on, this is crazy, like pretty much a year to the day we dropped K.R.I.T is here. I was on stage with Rico Love at this music conference he does.
Shout out to
and it
Rico.
was, and then Mace was on stage too. And Rico challenged me in front of like 500 people. He was like, yo, bro, I feel like you're doing a disservice to your supporters by not trying to make bigger music for yourself.
Right.
And he's like, man, I see you with the Coles and the Kendricks. You know, I'm like, what are you waiting on? Like, get in the studio with me. And that was the beginning of it because nobody had ever really done that per
Called
se.
you out.
Like, called me out.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, I'm like, well, damn, maybe I am just too comfortable with where I'm at, right? And so after that, man, we get in the studio. I'm in the studio with him in Danger, and then that's when you get the TDT project that came out. And then shout out to my manager Dutch, and then my marketing manager Steve-O. and like having these people around me is like, nah, bro, this one don't have to be a part of this story you've been telling.
Right. I feel like every project's been connected, man.
Oh yeah, it's been this.
Return of Forever and a Day. It's all been.
And it kind of is good to have that breakaway for a second.
And then the little EPs kind of set the breakaway up.
Exactly.
Yeah, me and Dutch were talking about it.
And you testing the waters of it just to see how people feel, right?
Sure.
And we saw what Energy did, and Pick Yourself Up did, then Learn from Texas did. It's like, oh snap, and they don't have to all be together. You know what I'm saying? So
it was a new landscape.
Man,
I remember when I got there though, I kind of went into it like figuring out, oh, I know I'm here. And then,
ain't that some shit?
But I'm saying that's what you just described.
Yeah.
But then I also didn't get a chance to tell you. I want you to tell that story because I remember when you were coming up first. Like I remember you and Nip was kind of coming up around the same time, the blog era, whatever. Yeah. And Nip was my man. Like you know what I'm saying. So when y'all started bubbling, I remember saying something similar to him. Like, bro, you gotta like make. Like, why don't you fuck with nobody? You know what I'm saying? Because he would just stick to the script. I'm gonna put this out. I'm gonna sell it for $100. I'm gonna do this. Right. And I feel like you kind of had a similar path, and then you pivoted all of a sudden. So
I think about the amount of no's I may have gotten early on in my career, musically, and then you finally a record like Children of the World. I was told by an A&R that nobody really wanted to hear that at the time, right? And then I actually put it out, and people do want to hear that. Or a country shit might not be that kind of record, and I do
Jam
put it out.
dropped the ball on that.
But that was before Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? That's
wait.
Yeah, that's
right.
early.
What was the record? What was the record with 2 Chainz and
Now that's Money on the Floor.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Now that shit came out September 2011. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, I said
I don't know what
we can blame it on sample clearances here and there, but the time frame on a lot of that shit, then the album didn't come out till June 2012. That's a long time to be telling people my album coming out. Then I dropped Forever and a Day in the middle because I needed to be able to keep the buzz going around the album. You know, and I tell any artist, do not drop a mixtape right before your album come out.
It's the word.
It's just not where it's
Well, the same thing happened with Cole before his debut album.
Yeah.
He put out he put out his mixtape, and then like 2 or 3 of the records was on the album, and I felt like it kind of threw off his debut project.
You gotta be very careful with that, cause especially with mixtapes, man. We sampling, we don't care. I mean, it's for free, like here, and then you just in your room, you're creating like you used to, and the album is like you gotta get the sample clearances together. It's a little bit more intricate, and the mixing is different, and it's a lot of people, that's talking like, man, maybe this, maybe that. So people could definitely tell the difference in freedom between that mixtape and that album. So for me, again, it's like being off the label, not having to walk in and play my album for 15, 20 different people that may not get where I'm from. Man, I just be like, hey, bro, this the album. You know what I'm saying?
Here you go.
Here you go. And that's from Forever's a Mighty Long Time. K.R.I.T Is Here was a little different because I had more of a collective effort with my team. And
I also feel like you did not deviate from what K.R.I.T does.
Nah, I'm being country.
You did not like compromise what you do, man.
This is about elevate high-end country shit.
High-end country shit
to another level.
100%. And it's crazy because we were talking on the elevator right up. I was like, yo, man, I think my favorite song is the Blue Flame Ballet. And you're like, that's the only one I produced.
That's the only one.
I knew it. That shit is hard.
Yeah, I mean, but the beauty of it is, like, if I produce the whole album, then that record might not stand out like it does. I think having so many different sonic palettes of it, and then on top of that, I learned so much on the production level from working with all these producers. Getting in with a DJ Camper or Khalil, getting in with Danger, Tay Beast, and you know what I'm saying, and then hearing how their mixing is, I mean, of their records before they even go to me, it's like, damn, this shit hitting, bro. What you doing? How you making that? You like, and then the drum patterns and making things just a little bit off. It don't got to be on time. Creating this swing. Man, I kind of apply that to my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, having J. Cole on Prove It. By the way, both y'all killed it. Incredible record.
Appreciate it.
But what I respect about Cole is, like, obviously, right now Cole's like top 2 or 3 guys on the planet.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like just stature, all of that. And like, he tapped in and hopped on Royce's album.
Definitely.
And and you're an independent, respected artist. Man. He tapped in, and obviously, like I said, you one of the GOATs of the last 10 years, so it's only right. But how did that feature happen? How long has that been in the works? He actually obviously says he fucks with you in the verse.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's been in the work for years. Cause back in 2012, I was on tour with Cole. It was like we did a college run right before my album came out, and it's one of them situations where, we all take our own paths, and the music is popping. I'm glad this is the particular feature that we were able to do, just based off the climate of where everybody is, the social commentary of the record. And then Cole was actually working on the Dreamville album at the time. And most people was like, man, did y'all make that happen when y'all was, you know, when all that was happening? Like, nah, man, he was able to knock that out and then kind of be finalizing. So I really appreciated the homie for being able to get that, you know, verse to me and then the intricacy of the verse, right?
Oh, for sure.
You can always just get a verse.
Give a verse. Here go a verse.
He did not mail it in.
Yeah.
There was a moment.
I'm like, yeah, so it's like creating a moment, and then everybody that was on my album, I feel like, man, I appreciated the amount of time that they actually took out to actually do something that's just stand out.
For
in
sure.
This way, but
I mean, you can't come whack on some crit shit and
nah,
you go get
man,
washed.
Let's not do that.
You know what? I really like Wayne's verse, and I felt like it was a good marriage on there. Like, so I mean, when you first said who was on the record, obviously, so you know, we hear Saweetie come in, but then when Wayne came in, I was playing it for some people, and I was like, yo, Wayne got off on this, and I'm like, I don't know why people sleep on Wayne.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
But for you, like, what made you want to do Wayne and not anybody else on that one?
Well, no, I don't have a record. I've never had a record with Wayne before. And that's off the rip, and then that's the OG. And so the crazy thing is how a lot of that particular situation happened because the people I was working with were in the right place at the right time, right? I came out here and actually did the Addiction record, and we knew what it was, but it was missing some components. And
how old is that record?
That record was last year, I think.
Okay, so that was like probably after like Saweetie dropped her first single and started the bubble.
But the crazy thing is Rico was in the studio working with Saweetie, and that's how we were able to get her on the hook. My manager Dutch had ran into Wayne manager and was like, you know, played the record. He was like, yo, try to get Wayne on it. And then the OG jumped on the record. It's like this form like Voltron thing.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. And it's just a show, and I appreciate that people, you know, obviously have either known about me or respect me enough to actually take out the time to jump on records. I spent a lot of time in the comfort zone, and I was like, man, maybe people ain't rocking with me, boom, boom, but that wasn't even true. And I had to realize that, man, there's a lot of people I haven't worked with that I'm gonna definitely work with now. And a shout out to the homie Yellow Beezy, Baby Rose on the album, with the Michaels, DJ Camper on the album singing. So yeah, man,
Do you consider yourself to be an introverted person?
Hell yeah.
Like I'm just talking about not even on the rap show.
Hell yeah.
Just as at the house.
You
don't want nobody coming over.
I mean, ain't about no. Hold on now. I don't mind that, but I'm definitely one of those people very observant. You know what I'm saying? Definitely an introvert. I'm a Virgo, so just be kind of cool,
low key.
Yeah, but all that shit changed on stage. I don't know what happened.
For sure. Your live show is something else, bro.
It's on that shit. Like when I get out there, it's like, oh, let's go. Like one of those situations. But I kind of always been like that, and I think that's what kind of helped me creatively, musically, because like when everybody else is like trying to be in the forefront, me, it was like, man, I want to make sure I get my shit all the way right. I study this game to the T. That way, when I do present my music, it's already on that level.
I feel like a lot of dudes that we look at to like being MCs, quote unquote, are kind of loners a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't really like all of the extra shit. They just kind of be low key.
I mean, when you in that studio,
besides the baby, that motherfucker rapping his ass off, and he's lit.
Right.
Hey, man, look, I
keep a low profile.
I ain't gonna front. I can't imagine getting the kind of money that these young cats getting now. When we had this, like
you
the
don't know
smoker club,
how you'd be, right?
The drinker club, and all that, bro. Let me tell you something.
Strip club.
I mean, bro, like. Well, we was at
those early smokers club stores.
I'm at Side by Side where it broke. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
But we just rapping because it's rap. But like I can't imagine if with me, Smoke Dizzle, and all this rolling up, and we got the millions and shit, the chain. I would be dumbing out because we were dumbing out, and I ain't have no money.
Right.
So what?
So what do you think? So it's coming. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Say you coming in the game, you a young dude, right? Okay. You get the bag of all bags.
Okay.
What are you going out and take yourself there? What are you blowing the bag on? Do you think?
Shit, I'm getting every car that I ever wanted. I'm getting my mom, them, the crib, all that shit, because I'm gonna make those kind of mistakes.
That's not that dumb though.
I mean,
real estate.
I ain't say real estate.
Cars are dumb. Cars are just depreciating assets.
I bought the car, and I should have just probably leased this motherfucker. Right. Put it on a business account.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Because this shit is not it's depreciate. Like if it ain't, if the Porsche ain't in the 60s or maybe the 70s, and maybe I shouldn't have bought this motherfucker. As soon as they put a computer in it, I kind of lost.
Facts.
But it's one of those situations where I'm just saying, like I remember spending money once I got it when I was younger, and then now I'm older. I'm like, man, let me rethink this. Let me put stuff back for my kids and shit like that. Because that's where you realize that later on in life. I mean, my hindsight 2020, so you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but I would be balling like the fuck.
Well, I'm also happy like you haven't taken off like between the last project and the EPs you were dropping. Yeah. It's like good to like have consistent crit. Like, you know, that's supposed
man,
to, like,
growth, man. You know, I fall through,
now you're independent, so you do what the fuck. I mean, again, you know, you just do what the fuck you want. Just drop an album every year. That'd be nice.
See, and that's why I put that skit on there. Shout out to Carlos Miller and Chico Bean when they were like, "No, we gotta wait again." Like,
we gotta wait again because there's always a waiting game.
But believe it or not, the one time that I don't make people wait and I drop, y'all motherfucker be like, "Man, K.R.I.T done lost it."
Yeah,
like,
it's over.
This is all right.
How do you react to that though? Like, you drop your album, and then the next day fans is like, "Man, when the next one coming out?" Like,
I mean, it's just the climate.
You just
right?
gotta breathe deep and be like, you know what?
Just gave y'all.
I just hear what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I remember when music was, you had to live with that album for 2 years, 3 at the max. Then you get another one, and you couldn't even hit the artist and be like, "Hey man, I really liked your older shit better." You just had to be like, "Yo, this is progression." I think.
Shout out to Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I think the way music is, it does make it a little bit more difficult to create, or the idea of putting music out. But you have to step up to the challenge if you've been doing it this long.
Do you feel a social responsibility to talk about shit in your music?
Of course.
Like, because I know, like, certain artists say they don't really feel like it's their obligation to speak on issues, to speak out, to talk about.
That's never been you, though.
Nah, I always. Yeah,
I mean, do you feel like that's your duty?
Yeah, I mean, before it was even a popular thing or an idea. Like, I was talking about depression and anxiety when it was just taboo. Like, man, you don't really speak on that. But that comes with the idea of making timeless music, because if I tell you about my experiences as I get older, you may not understand when you're 13, you might not understand when you're 20. You hit 30, you might be like, damn, now I get what Chris was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you have to make music from that perspective that people will grow into your music or grow old with you.
Grow with it.
Yeah, and so I think about that when social topics happen and things happen, and it's just try to make it in a way where it's not so time capsuled in a way, but make it more where it's more worldly, so it's a round perspective in itself.
Is there any chance that now that you're indie, we can get K.R.I.T Was Here, Forever and a Day, Return of Forever on streaming platforms?
That is a question that we're going to be able to take care of after the whole interview is over. Shout out to my team. And yes, I'm pretty sure we're going to put that together. But if you know anything about me, I was a sampling fool.
Of course.
It takes time.
Shout out to everybody who bought all those on vinyl, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That didn't happen.
They didn't sell no vinyl.
Yo, let's go back.
Me, G. Hey, Jack.
Okay, well,
all this gonna be.
Let's go. Let's go back. Like, I feel like
with a check.
An instrumental record in your career and just that era of hip hop was Glass House.
I'm stuck on what you just
Fucking your shit up, man.
I ain't really doing this shit.
Nah, but like if you go back, like Glass House, I feel like, you know, you, Wiz, and Currency at that time, you guys were all just on the cusp of greatness, and I feel like you had the standout verse, you know, if you ain't fucking it, sucking it by Cutlet, man. Classic shit.
Yeah. Old school flow.
But like, how often do you go back and listen to that record, and like, what did that record mean to you at that time? Because, like I said, man, from there, all three of you guys just kind of just built a real infrastructure.
It went crazy. Well, I had that record before Wiz had heard that I played that particular record to Currency while I was in New York, because we did No Wheaties too at the time.
Yep.
And I played that, and then we at South by Southwest, and we all at the cinematic crib.
Shout out Shipes.
Yeah, Shipes. Yeah, and Currency like, man, play that Glass House shit, bro. And then Wiz there, and literally, because they had a show that night, so I'm like, I bring the beat up and everything, and then they do their verses, because it already had the hook, and then I'm like, they left, and I started mixing the whole record and shit. Play it for when they get back. Then Will, which is Will's manager, hit. I'm like, yo, we want to put this on Cushion Orange. I'm like, bet, let's go.
Run it.
And then ended up on both projects.
Yeah, and then it just became this thing, bro. I was like, oh shit. And then that was my first introduction of some of his fans really hearing me. Then I ended up going on tour with him, and then we just saw this. It was crazy because that was the first time we saw somebody tour off a mixtape. Yeah, and what that impact was, and then Black and Yellow had hit. Oh man! And then Currency and
was that the same tour with Wolf, or no? The Wiz tour? No, I think that was after.
Yeah, I think that was after. Yeah, bruh, crazy. It was ridiculous.
Hey, did you and speaking of Yellow Wolf, did you guys ever record anything for Country Cousins? Or I know that idea is pretty much just kind of passed. It's not gonna happen. But did you guys ever record anything?
I mean, I think that's what the record with Rich was. That was the beginning of it.
That was a great record. You talking about Full of Shit?
Yeah, Full of Shit.
My God.
That one. It was another one called Happy Birthday Hip Hop. We did.
Great record. That was like a Lucy.
Yeah, and then it kind of went. Yeah.
Full of Shit was hard, man.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that one.
Now, I was gonna say, if you go back to, we talked about of the last 10 years, the GOATs. I feel like, shout out to Kendrick. He pretty much got them all on the control verse. You were a part of that. Was Mount Olympus a response to that?
Yes.
That's such a great record, man.
That
record was like, motherfucker, I ain't no joke over here, bro.
But that record also proved to me and I've spoken on like Geography Lottery or the idea. Conceptually, I know what Mount Olympus was, and we was out here performing it, what it meant to my career, people that understood lyrical concepts, cadences, but it's like it was hard to drop that and then get the same support. And it's just how things are.
That's
right?
how it go, yeah.
And so I left that with more of a knowledge of like, man, I'm just gonna really focus on competing with myself. It's like, because even if people wanted to be like, man, the
but
best.
But that was a moment in hip hop. You dropping that record, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I for me, it was just trying. There's so many people that found out about my music based off of that that only had thought it was one thing. And so it was like, nah, bro, it's way more than that.
That's a lot deeper.
I went from like, oh, I'm underground rapper, boom, 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 to I'm on like mad memes with artists that people had never paired me with, and it wasn't a positive connotation. It was negative. And so I took that as an artist, like, nah, man, if you ain't gonna do me like that, you never tuned into what my music actually sounded like.
Right.
And so that was just what that was. And then coming out of that, the realization, like, man, being angry or trying to be on that gladiator, it might not work for me. Me being myself and constantly dropping this quality music is gonna really be my upside.
How do you balance, like, how do you justify staying in your comfort zone musically, but then being upset with people boxing you in?
I mean, look, bro, I'm from Mississippi. They've been boxing me in as far as creatively my entire career. So it's kind of like understanding, like, I know where my talent lies, and so that'd be the sneak verse. Somebody be like, damn, I ain't know Craig could get off like that.
Got you.
That'd be the instrumental that I made, and I'm on the hook. And I'm like, man, who's on the hook? Who made the beat? It's like, that's Craig. Yeah. Like, so it's just constantly sprinkling those small little things that make me different than every other artist, and kind of showcasing that, and also talking more about it, because I used to be very like, yeah, I made the beat. Like, nah, I made the motherfucking beat.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah, say with your chest.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like in one of those situations, and encouraging people to, like, nah, man, challenge me, man. Let's work. Like, let's make the dopest record possible. We all gonna be in the studio with our backs turned, trying to kill each other on the record. It makes good. It's good for music.
You ever do a record and somebody made you rewrite your verse?
No.
So it's always what you wrote the first
It's what
time.
I wrote.
How about this? Did you ever send in a verse to somebody and you destroyed them and they kept you off the record? They didn't end up using it, maybe because you made them look bad?
That's a good question. No, I think everybody ever jumped on the record with they kept me. No, I haven't made a feature because I think I was too descriptive with whatever the concept was. It was like a very intimate record for R&B singer.
Okay,
it's amazing.
okay.
She's amazing. I was just way too graphic.
You was just too
You
graphic.
some ratchet shit.
Yeah, I wasn't even ratchet. I was just graphic.
Graphic.
That's totally different.
That's
And so
fair.
I didn't make the cut.
Finger in the asshole.
I mean, I didn't even say that kind of.
Whoa.
It's hard
That
to find
escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, he said it was graphic,
I
you know
mean,
what I'm saying?
but
When you
it's-
get down with a girl, you ain't never just took the thumb and
All right.
West Coast.
Hey, but it's hard. Why you gonna go West Coast?
Hey, Craig, you want some of this, bro?
Who throws West Coast on that shit? West Coast.
That's just what my shit
How
is.
you make
That's
it.
amen. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, look, but nah, and that it's kind of hard to rhyme that what you said. This shit still got a fucking rhyme, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's fucking funny.
Hey.
Nah, man, but I send in all my, like, most of my records, like, literally if it's a concept with the hook and my verses, because I want people to understand where I'm going conceptually. And so it just make more sense. And if you go hard and you body me, that's kind of really what it was about, because I'm comfortable with what I wrote.
Dope.
That's fucking funny.
You and Nip obviously have similar roots when it comes to Johnny Shipes and cinematic. You know, Shipes was, I think, the first person Nip signed to, if I'm not wrong, super early on.
Yep.
You know, in that like 08 to like 2011 era, were you guys, you know, like how was your guys' relationship? If did you have one with him at all?
I mean, yeah. I mean, when I the first time I met Nip, we had like a showcase, I think, and I forgot who we were doing it for. That's the picture that you see. That's me, Smoke Dizza, Johnny Shipes, and Nip. And just every interaction that I actually had with the homie was super positive, and he had an understanding of being independent or moving the way you wanted to move before a lot of people did. And it kind of shows not only in the interviews, but I guess even with him not kind of getting the kind of support he wanted or kind of needed in the beginning.
Of course.
And so, but it was just this positivity and want to tell you how to get yours, and you ain't got to conform. And so I don't know, man. When what happened to him, it just kind of made me fall back from everything. Like, damn, I kind of wasn't really tripping on music. I didn't really want to talk to nobody.
Right.
And it brought me back to this idea, like, man, you can get to this point because everybody started to see it. I'm watching. I'm excited because the homie was finally getting that.
Got nominated for a Grammy.
Like, I'm like, yes. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all like, man, one of it, yo. And then that happened, bro. And it was like, man, them accolades don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, your legacy, what you leave behind, and at any moment, somebody on that hatred could just take it all away from you and that from your family. Like, so it just kind of put me in a space where now moving forward, not only musically, but I guess interviews and just how I interact with people is really trying to, like you said, giving people their flowers while they're on the top side of the surf, and like just bigging up my partners, my peers, and what they're doing, because we all were able to kind of escape extreme circumstances in order to be in this position that we're in, man. And so that means a lot. And so whatever energy we put out is gonna kind of resonate throughout time, whether we're here to speak about it or not.
Were you able to talk to him like recently?
No, I mean, I ran into the homie at it was this open mic showcase in Atlanta, and I hadn't seen him in a little minute, but I told him, like, for congratulations, and then spoke to him about a record that I had, which is the Believe record that's on the album.
Great album, great record.
And wanted to get him on it, and then sending it to him, and they're like, all right, bet it's like actually gonna be a move, like you're gonna be able to do it. And I'm literally planning for somebody that morning, and then that happened.
Wow.
And then it was like, yeah, bro. And so it just, I don't know, it just changed the dynamic of how you think you got time. It's like, oh man, we're gonna put this together, boom, boom, boom. And you know, it don't necessarily work out
just
that
like
way.
that.
And I couldn't really hear anybody else on the record, and so I just finished it myself.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair, man. That's crazy. That would have been crazy because that's one of my favorites of the project.
And we knew off the rip. I'm in the studio with Rico Lil Danger, my manager Dutch, and we knew, like, bet.
Did you hit you told him about the record, or you played him the record?
No, I told him about the record.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, club is kind of, you know, difficult to be like explain the whole song. Like, bro, and me, I'm one of those artists where I'm always like seeking features. Like, normally it's like, man, you know, like, just like, yo, bro, if I got it, like, I really hear you on this record kind of thing. And so, you know, I let the homie know, shot him a text, you know, and then, yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
That's great. Something else I wanted to ask you about is the conversation with your dad.
Yeah.
Like, I saw you doing that was interesting. Like, well, how did that come up? Like, who's like?
Okay, so again, my team, they're very keen on trying to make sure that there's things that I talk about just throughout my day. Like, man, the conversation I have with my father and how impactful he is in my life, and like kind of bringing that to the forefront and being able to make it in a way where we can, you know, let people know that's how I feel or the relationship. So it was crazy that we did that probably 8-9 months before the album even idea was.
Oh, wow.
And we just had that because it was like, man, it's a great sit down. It's my dad's first time in LA. Shout out to Andrew Whitten, you know, who filmed it. And it just became this thing where people didn't know, like, my pops had been so, like, impactful as far as my competitive nature and baseball and how he had to kind of tell me to dial back, you know, when it came to rap. Like, bro, it's all good. You did way more than I thought. And what that helped me, you know what I'm saying, how that helped me emotionally and mentally moving forward with music. And I feel like, you know, people needed to hear that kind of conversation. People that don't necessarily have a positive relationship with their fathers.
Exactly.
Or don't even know how to have that kind of conversation.
That's what I got from it.
You know, and it was amazing, man, and it actually opened up a different kind of dialogue, you know, when I move around with some of my partners that haven't spoke to their pops in years. You know?
I was curious about that because I remember me and Kev talked about this. My dad started reaching out recently, and he was like, you know, I want to, you know, build with you and shit. Yeah. Now, I haven't had a relationship with at all.
Okay.
I'm 35.
Okay.
So now it's like, I was like, okay, I'll be willing to have a conversation with you, but it has to be live on the radio. And that's just because I feel like somebody else could probably benefit
from this. Yeah,
so that's when you said that, I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. Man, that's why I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah,
nah, you'd be surprised, man. You realize so many things that you took from that positive and then some negative, like not having those interactions with him. And then a lot of your mannerisms still may very well come from him, and you don't even know why. we don't talk about anxiety, depression as much. You see your parents go to work every day. They don't really voice how they feeling normally. They just like, I'm gonna just make it happen, or they hit that bottle, or they smoke that green or whatever, and then go do it all over again. But it's very important to get to the bottom of why they deal with what they dealing with, or panic attacks or shit that our parents was having. We didn't even realize. Like, I just feel like the wall closed. Don't talk to me right now. So you having a panic attack.
Right.
We have so much information now that we kind of got to start addressing these things, and then kind of dialing it back to our parents and our grandparents, and really kind of figuring out where we get some of our triggers from as well.
That's fair. I know, you've never been somebody to not shy away from who your influences were. You obviously got the record where you're paying homage to Texas.
Yes.
I've never heard you like say what are your favorite albums of all time? Give me like top 5. I'd be curious.
That's
top 5
difficult.
albums. Off
Come
the top
on,
of your head.
God damn.
All right, you ain't
Excluding
gotta rate
yours.
them.
Okay, of course not.
You don't gotta rank them in order. Just like what's 5
no
albums that come
particular
to your
order.
head?
I bet. Obviously, Aquemini.
Oh man, top 5 for me too.
Aquemini.
Best Outkast album.
Yeah, Riding Dirty.
Okay, shout out UGK.
The Mac soundtrack.
Okay.
By Willie Hutch. Man, oh shit. Damn, I only got 2 more. Oh man. Give me 1 second.
Aquemini's the one though, man.
I know. Like now I'm going through all the albums that I play over and over again. You might have to come back to this, man, because I don't want. Like, I'm thinking about.
Let me ask you this: What's the album you go to when you going into album mode? Because I know some people say they pull inspiration from the greats or whatever. Do you have a go-to album or soundtrack?
I got songs.
What song?
Crossing 110th Street by Bobby Womack. Take Care of Mama by Willie Hutch.
Shout out Willie Hutch.
Pusha Man, Underground by Curtis Mayfield.
Man.
Obviously High Life, UGK. I'm listening to Cheese and Dope by Project Pat.
Shout out Project Pat, man.
Who else I'm listening to?
So while you listening to this is taking you somewhere where you need to go to focus on what you trying to get down, or
I just if you a lot of the textures of these albums, like, they have a certain grit to them. Cadence carrying, obviously bass. If you're talking about 3 6 Mafia being able to flip the samples the way they were doing, but then kind of going back to the origin of where those samples come from, right? So I get the sonics in the field and how they was using symphonies and horns and just, the guitar riffs and all that, because I still really love rapping over live instrumentation, but I really love it when you're able to flip it, throw an 808 snare, 808 kick, and then you got that sub hitting at the same time. And then the way producers move now, like, Make It Easy on Yourself off my album, I had been listening to that Jerry Butler sample for like 10 years.
Wow.
And never could flip it. And then I played a record for DJ Camper for 30 seconds. He's like, this the one. And then now that becomes this soundboard for me to rap off of, and he made it in a way I never would have done it, but it still has that soul that I love, and it still got that bass, and it still got that snare slap. I just wouldn't have flipped it that way.
Who's your top 3 sampling producers?
Shit, man.
Sorry,
tricky question.
I mean, get you samples.
Nah, it's all good, man.
I mean, most producers sample.
Yeah, DJ Paul, Juicy J.
I think Paul and Juicy J might be the most slept on producers. Period.
Possibly, I would say that.
At least top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Paul's still killing it.
Crazy.
Bro.
He
Paul's
played me some shit, and out here in LA, I was like, man,
Paul's tough.
Ninth Wonder.
Gotta love Ninth.
And Pimp C.
Damn.
Yo,
is there anybody that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Yeah, for real. Timbaland. Switch Beats. Who else I haven't worked with yet?
That's dope, man.
People.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. Dre, I ain't got one with Dre yet. Like Kanye, I ain't got one with him yet.
Yo, you and Kanye would be crazy.
I think that'd be dope.
Yeah.
You just handle this like the bass line and then let him come up with the sample.
Oh yeah,
I
got the sub on.
I got
the sub.
I got the sub for it.
I got that. Don't worry.
Do you ever slide anybody your packs? Like, here goes some production, like little homies or
people, like drums and
drum
shit?
kits?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like
some people just.
Man, look, drum kits are like fucking Pokemon trading cards, man. Let me tell you something. Like, you get in the studio, like, bro, I got this dope-ass kick. Like, bruh, but this shit ain't hitting harder than this shit. But that's only with people you trust. That's just like samurai technique. Like, let me show you how to one-punch kill a motherfucker.
Okay. If you gave anybody some shit and they used it better than you?
No. Yo, damn, that's fucked up.
You have I feel like at least maybe I'm ignorant to you doing this lately, but I feel like you haven't been producing for other artists like as much. I feel like you had a run where you were out there more as a producer.
Yeah.
Is that something you're gonna like tap into more? Or
I think so. The latest record I had to do that I produced was the record for Joel Ortiz.
Okay.
Shout out to Joel.
Yeah, so I produced that. I'm on the hook. And like I have a passion for producing for people, and not even actually being on the song sometimes. Just being in the room and trying to create something brand new. And people are gonna kick flows totally different than what I would do.
100%.
They're gonna sing different than what I would. I had the opportunity to co-executive produce Bun B album, Return of the Trill. So there was production on there. It's fun seeing what other people come up with over my production.
Hey, if you could remake one UGK record with Bun,
oh my God, bro, what the?
Which I mean,
Diamonds and Wood.
Okay. In my head, I was gonna say, bro. In my head, I was like, yo.
With those records, man, look, I would, but Murder's like I would
that's the hardest Bun B verse of all time.
I mean, that's one of the hardest verses of all time.
Yeah, facts.
We can't even
Bun got off on that shit.
That's just amazing. The fact that he did that in one take, though.
That was a one take?
Man, they was on 8 tracks. Like, wasn't no punching in back then.
Yeah, punch me in. You know how much it costs to punch in?
Hell no, bro.
That's crazy.
That man had to do that. Like, yo.
Yeah, he had to run that shit straight through.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, and so that, I mean, even having a respect level for that and understanding even the Mount Olympus, so even going to perform Mount Olympus and actually doing the last verse all the way through. It comes from the idea of what he had to do,
like,
what those artists had to do back then. Yeah, and then if you ever worked on ADAT trying to fly a hook, you just fucking do the hook off. Fuck it, we just gonna do the hook over again. We gonna let the beat keep riding. Yeah. That's why you can hear the inconsistencies of people dubbing and shit back then. Cause man, flying that hook was difficult as a motherfucker.
That's crazy. Well, yo, K.R.I.T, the album is out.
Yes, sir.
Go support it.
All platforms.
Great body of work per the usual.
Appreciate it, bro.
Is there gonna be a Prove It video in the works?
Man, Lord, I'm trying to shoot videos to all these. You know what I'm saying? I do Prove It probably will have a visual. I'm pretty
there you
sure.
go.
Have you and Cole talked about it?
I mean, nah, but I'm gonna hit him. He already know. Like, we gotta do this. Like,
yeah.
We gotta do this.
I think it's a moment in hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he understands the importance of that.
Yeah. We Gucci, man.
You know, he did the Royce video, like, and I was like, yo, this is fire. like
you know, we're gonna make it happen. I'm glad we talking about it now. Those interviews will come out.
Ebe, let's go.
Oh, yo, hold on real quick. Me and Kev talked about this being one of the best times ever for females in hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. Who are you listening to as far as females in rap right now?
Man, obviously Rhapsody is killing it. Rhapsody's top tier lyricist just in general.
Yes.
Megan Thee Stallion. Shout out to H-Time.
Did you see her freestyle that came out today?
No, I didn't see it.
She snapped, man.
Crazy. But I saw Tierra Whack.
Tierra Whack is hard.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to Philly. She's
and
tough.
It becomes a thing where this ain't got nothing to do with gender. You just get bodied in general.
Right.
This is like top tier lyricism, cadence carrying, and you understand hip-hop. So, yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Big K.R.I.T, thank you for pulling up, my brother.